Hello, friends, and welcome to another edition of the Bleed Los podcast. We are live this week in the Carne Asada, and it's presented by our partners at BetOnline. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager all of your favorite sports on all of your favorite sports contests and events with the first to market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. So BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. If you head on over to BetOnline's website today, which is betonline.ag, or if you use your mobile device to download their app, and you join today and you make your first sports bet, if you use our promo code, which is Believe50, BLEAV 50, the number 5 and the 0, you will receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Huge shout out to BetOnline for presenting this week's episode. BetOnline, where the game starts. It's funny. I was looking back on because obviously we do some sort of prep for these shows, and I totally forgot that the Dodgers may or may not have lost to the Nationals, and they were able to rebound. Obviously, resoundingly rebounded today. But before we even get into that, there was a series against the Giants, Juanito's favorite second team, the Giants of San Francisco, where they more or less they just went out there and just, hey, we're fine. They dominated the division rival. But I was curious because obviously every team has their slip ups, right? And they had their slip ups with the Nationals there for those 2-game sets. Does that worry anyone? I was just kind of curious. I'm not worried, but I was just curious if anyone was.
I am. I'm worried about it because to me that's a perfect example of what can happen in a playoff series. Yeah, on paper you may be favored, but you have a bad couple of days, and all of a sudden you're down to 0-2 in a series, and you could lose momentum. I mean, look, this is now a trend. I was at the game on Monday. I was able to cover the game, and let me tell you, they asked Dave Roberts that question in the post game. Why are you guys losing to teams like the Piratas? Why are you losing to the Nationals? And you could tell Dave Roberts was pissed, right? Not pissed at the question. He was just pissed because the reporter was right. Why are we losing to these teams? And he just flat out said, I don't know. I don't have. And I've heard Hershiser say it on the broadcast. Maybe it's focus and stuff like that. Is it a letdown? You had a 4-game series against your rival, and then, of course, the worst team in the National League comes in. But I don't know. It concerns me, man, because this stuff can happen and without any explanation. Just ask Dave Roberts. I mean, what do you think, Alicia?
Well, I understand the concern, but I am not concerned. What I am concerned about, we've all discussed this before. When the Dodgers play a team that is less than, right? I mean, the worst place national team, they let go a little bit, right? So you brought up several things like they just swept the Giants. I don't know. I feel like, okay, they can't win every game. So right. Juan, would you feel better if the games that they had lost had been to the Giants and swept the Nationals? Because I know, again, on paper, that's how it's supposed to go. But I'm not worried because you mentioned when we get to the playoffs, we meaning Dodger fans who follow the Dodgers, they're going to be up because they're not going to be facing the Nationals. So that's why I'm not that concerned. Do I want them to lose, 2 in a row and seeing our pitchers struggle against that team? Like, I have to remember that it's the Dodgers and that when it does come time for playoffs, the Dodgers will be up. Even if this is their MO and we don't like it, they can't win every game. So I'd rather destroy the better teams and give up a few to the lesser teams. I don't know what to call them. I feel so mean. The teams that don't have such a great record.
I like how even in this environment, you can't be mean. Like,
but I understand your point, Alicia, and I don't know if I would have felt better if they would have lost one to the Giants and swept the Nationals. But to me, the reason that it concerns me is the Dodgers could have won easily 2 out of 3 against the Nationals.
Yeah.
Gonsolin didn't pitch bad.
No,
He didn't. The hardest hit ball he gave up was that home run. Other than that, it was little bloopers, and that's the kind of stuff that can happen in the playoffs.
Yep.
That's the kind of stuff that the games, you're facing better pitching, a little bloop here, a little bloop there, and all of a sudden you lose a game. You come back for the next game, and the same thing happens, and now you find yourself down 0-2. That's what concerns me.
So you're saying you don't want them to get in the habit of playing poorly, even though it's an inferior team. But
Yeah,
I'm saying they let down their guard a little bit. They took their foot off the pedal because they're a less than team. So the playoffs, I expect them to be up. But you're right. Momentum matters, right? We don't want them to get used to not defending, playing sloppy, whatever, not being able to come from behind, leaving a bunch of batters on base. They've gotten a lot better. They've gotten a lot better with, the second half of games and stuff like that. But I don't know. I'm just not that worried yet. We're still on pace, and you don't think that they're embarrassed, right? Like, who was it? Jessica, Alana, they've always said like they're humans.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they are hearing it. You saw Robert's upset in person one. So I'm pretty sure that they know they got to play better, and they came back tremendously today. One highlight is they held Juan Soto down to like, what do you have? 2 hits out of all
two
of that
hits in the
match?
series. Yeah.
So that shows me that the greatest are still being held down by the Dodgers. Ultimately. Am I reaching?
No,
I mean, what do you think, Alonso?
I think it's a couple things. I think one, there's the distraction of all the Juan Soto sweepstakes. That's a thing. And if people don't think that's a thing, then you don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. That's a thing. Especially when guys know that there's that many, like today, I forgot how many scouts there was there today. There was a lot of scouts there today.
Yeah.
But also from a player perspective, it's very possible that if they go, and obviously we don't know if they go out and make that deal, there might be guys on this roster that are a part of that deal. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's a fair point, that should be pointed out, relating to the human element. I think they are playing more consistent. They've been on this stretch where they've been playing really consistent. And as we all know with baseball, it's all cyclical. Every once in a while, there's going to be a hiccup. And my biggest thing is they weren't swept by the Nationals. They were able to kind of come out, and they had a solid outing today. And you kind of had a good outing by guys that obviously you got your usual suspects, your Mookie Betts and your Freddie Freemans of the world that are going out and doing what they're doing, right? But when you got, the Trace Thompsons of the world, JT's first at bat since, what was it, June 21st? Is that right?
Yeah.
So, again, even Gavin Lux went out there and did the thing.
Not June 21st. I'm sorry, July 21st.
July 21st. I'm sorry. July 21st. That's right. Wrong month. My bad.
Before they at us.
Right. Before we get yelled at for getting, hey, my bad. English is hard. My only concern, if I'm being completely honest, is the bullpen. The bullpen has me really sketched out. I'm not worried with Alex Vesia. I'm not worried with Evan Phillips. I'm not worried. Even Yency Almonte has me a little worried, but I think what it is, if I'm being completely honest, when's the last time Yency pitched? It's been a minute, so you have to take that into account, right? Your starting pitching has been reliable. Even poor Mitch White got sent down.
Yeah.
I get it's a number of attritions and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, and even he said so himself. He was talking to Dodgers, Dodgers.com. It sucks. He wants to be up here, but he understands, kind of the way that the thing works, right? So for me, if I'm worried about anything, it's the bullpen. Am I wrong in kind of taking it that way?
No, I want to get into the bullpen, but before that, I want to hear the optimist here. Babyface, does it worry you that we saw this with the Pirates, we saw this with the Rockies, and hey, guess what? The Rockies are right around the corner again. We're going to Colorado. And now against the Nationals. You've said this earlier in the season, that these are games the Dodgers should be winning. So does it concern you?
it's not concerning in a sense, but it's disappointing. Like we've discussed, like these are the games that they should be winning, and I mean they have a big enough lead where it's probably not going to come back and bite them in the ass. That's where it worries me when it's a lead like like last year where it was like they're neck and neck with somebody and they're losing games that they shouldn't be. So obviously they should have won at least 2 out of 3, and if they would have won 2 out of 3, I would have won the prop bet from last week at 6-1. But they didn't do that.
Now we
So
know. Now we know the real issue is.
so that's what pissed me off about this series.
So
But
close, so close.
yeah, so close. But I mean, like I said, it's frustrating that they continue to lose to teams that they shouldn't lose to. Either like they're not they're just looking at it, okay, yeah, we should win these games. I mean, in the playoffs, yeah, we shouldn't face that, but what if there is a team that gets in and on paper you look at, yeah, Dodgers should beat this team easily, and for some reason they come in thinking that, and the same thing could happen, right?
Kind of
Yeah.
like the Nationals did in 2019.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
No,
Well-
no.
They
I mean,
have to win, right?
right. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you asked
But
about
they have
the.
the Nationals now.
No,
Like,
no, no, no. I'm just saying that they were the wild card team, and the Dodgers were the best team in the NL. I think they won 106 games, something like that, and the Nationals just punched them in the mouth, just directly into the mouth.
Yeah,
ooh,
no. I mean, but
so that feeds what one is
Yeah.
saying. If we
Yeah.
get to that point, okay. Well, don't make me nervous. I'm fully confident right
I like how she just did a complete 180.
I know, right? We totally convinced her. And if you look, the sky is falling. We are Chicken Little right now,
Yeah.
and the team is 30 games over 500. They got an 11 and a half game lead, and we're making Alicia over here have a panic attack.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're putting the fear in me.
And by the way, for all of you that are joining us on the live, chime in. We want to hear your feedback too. If you think we're all wrong, then add us. That's the whole reason we have that. If you think we're all right, add us as well. But either way, we want to hear from you guys to hear what you're thinking. Juan, you wanted to get into the bullpen.
Yeah. You brought up the bullpen because as usual, Roberts got killed on Twitter these last 2 games. I'm not counting today's game, but the prior 2 games, Roberts got killed, and in particular, he got killed because of his use of the bullpen. You said you were concerned about the bullpen. To me, what's concerning about the bullpen is that the reason why Roberts didn't go to certain guys is because Roberts told us these guys are down.
Right.
So, like Evan Phillips have pitched 3 games in a row. So I get it that this is a long season, and right now that's all the Dodgers are focused on is the regular season, getting these guys through the regular season. But Max Scherzer brought this up in the offseason as to why he had the problems that he had in the postseason was because he said the Dodgers didn't push him enough, the Dodgers didn't use him enough, and because he was underused, which I think is a real thing, which is I think maybe what is happening to Craig Kimbrell, is he's not being used the normal way he gets used. What concerns me is like, okay, if we're doing this to our relievers, and then when the playoffs come, and we need our relievers to go 2-3 days in a row, I know now with the playoff schedule it's a little different, but let's remember these playoffs are going to be longer now. It's an extended format, so we may have relievers pitching more days in a row. Look, it happened in 2017. I'm totally blanking now on the Brandon Morrow.
Yeah.
He was fantastic, and then he just ran out of gas against the Astros because they drove him into the ground. So that's what's concerning to me about the bullpen is that we are giving guys rest, and maybe we are not conditioning their body to exert themselves. But, I mean, like to steal a line from Alonso, what do I know? I'm just a fat guy who watches baseball. Maybe these guys need the rest. I mean, what do you guys think?
Go ahead, Alicia.
Well, you just gave me something else to worry about. I was just about to say, Juan, I'm good. They know what they're doing. But I did see Roberts being beat up on Twitter. And I did hear a comment from Roberts, right, where he said, expect more of this. When we get towards the end of the season and the playoffs, I'm misquoting him, but he basically was warning us, telling us, letting us know there's going to be more of this. Guys are going to know their role is going to be switched up. And so that answers your question. We're going to see more of this. What is the solution? I mean,
I don't know, which is funny because I know that Clevenger is in Babyface's Fight Club. I know Babyface wants to literally just drop kick Clevenger when next time he sees him. But Clevenger, I
dang.
will say this. I thought Clevenger had some bad luck there. Because if Gavin Lux doesn't make the error that he makes, he gets out of that inning. The Dodgers get out of that inning with a lead, and then you see Kimbrel probably in the ninth. You don't see Clevenger go 2 innings. So, I mean, a lot of it is also bad luck, and this is the other reason why. Look, I get it. The Dodgers are a good team, but there's a lot of luck involved in baseball. And that's my level of concern. I'm always, when it comes to baseball, there's just so many variables that you can't count on. So many things can go wrong because this is a game of failure.
Well, and I'll say this too about
Can I
Clevenger.
say something real quick?
Go ahead.
I was going to say about Clevenger. I mean, the thing about Clevenger is, yeah, there was bad luck, but he could have got out of that inning. He was like, what was he, 1-2 or 0-2 on the guy that hit the home run, right? So he didn't finish him off. And this is kind of a thing that we've seen with Clevenger. The guy's not very good. I mean, he's done this a lot, and he's not one of their most reliable guys. And I get it. I don't understand why he was in that situation in the first place, right? Because the guy's being down or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, couldn't Brewstar come in? Brewstar was available, right?
No, isn't Brewstar still down?
As far as I know, he's still down.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's on the IL or something? Okay, well,
Yeah.
I mean, there's still. I mean, what was being questioned was why was Clevenger in there with the 1-run lead in the 8th inning, right? So that's kind of where it's like, okay, why was he in there? I get he was in there, but it's just, I mean, Clevenger. It's just something that I've seen consistently. He's not very reliable, and that's why, then he trot him back out there for the 9th, and he gives up 4 more runs. So it's like,
I want you to make your point, Alonzo. I'm going to come back to Clevenger, but I want you to make your point.
Well, my point with Clevenger was going to be what I think, and this is just assumption, just seeing how Dave operates. I think Dave was trying to put him in a high leverage situation to see what he could get out of it. Now, is that the appropriate time? I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know. But when you have an 11.5 game lead, when is the appropriate time? You know what I mean? So if you're gonna find out what a guy gives you in a high leverage situation, why not try it there, right? So for me, that I understand why people are pissed. I get it, because obviously it ended up costing them the game. But you haven't seen Garrett pitch since May 14th, so it's been 2 months. We'll call it 2 months, and you're kind of trying to figure out what you're going to get out of that guy because those 2 outings that he had before he went down were an inning each. So you don't really know what you have in that guy, right? So if you're trying to find out where this guy fits in, like Alicia said, trying to find out the role that this guy is going to have, why not throw him in there in that situation to see if it's going to work? Is it going to bite him in the ass? Probably, but you don't know until you try it, right? And again, that's just me assuming that's what Dave did. I don't know that's what Dave did, but just knowing how Dave operates and kind of how he goes about stuff, that's what I think he did.
And this is why Alonzo's a genius, because he just made my point for me. So thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
We have a comment about too much rest is not good. It could be a momentum killer. And
100%.
Ron
100%.
started this show off with, what about the momentum, guys? You should not be losing to the Nationals and 2 in a row. And I get it. And now I'm panicking. So thank you.
I think that was our boy Efren. I think that was Efren who made that comment.
Is that
Let me know if I'm right, Efren. If
Yeah.
that's your name.
But I also was thinking that Alicia was going to say that Juan was killing the momentum. That's what I actually thought she was going with right there.
Yes, because I am the Prince of Darkness.
Yes, you are the Prince of Darkness. But I will say this again: if the bullpen is your weakness in this trade market, that's kind of a bummer because the trade market for relievers in this current state of affairs, it's rough. It's a rough trade market. Now for relievers. Now, if you want power bats, if you want a frontline starter, different story. But if all you need is relief pitching, this is a rough market. So that's the other thing I'm worried about because you're not going to go out and get a Josh Hader. You're not going to go out and get a guy like that in this market because there's just not a guy like that that's available. Now, the Dodgers do obviously have a knack for finding diamonds in the rough and making something work, but at the same time, who knows what they're going to do. Because again, I'm still of the party that I don't think they should go out and get a Juan Soto. But Andrew Friedman said, when a guy like that becomes available, you got to do some talking and you got to see if it makes sense. So I don't know. That's the only worry that I have is that. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Alicia. Like the good schoolgirl that she is, raising her hand.
Raising her hand.
Con permiso. When is Trainin coming back? Is he coming back?
Supposedly in August. Supposedly. So
And
Robert-
Brewstar is on the IL. I have confirmed he's on the IL.
And Robert said yesterday on Trinan that he won't be facing hitters for about maybe a couple more weeks, 2 weeks. So he said about late August yesterday.
So I would dare say September. I would say he's back in September with that timeline. And then the other guy, Dustin May. I know Dustin May is supposed to be back sometime in August. I know he just threw a rehab assignment in Oklahoma City. So that, again, if I still think Dustin May is they're getting him ready to be a starter. That's kind of the way I'm taking it. I don't think he's going to be in the bullpen. So if that's the case, then you have kind of your usual suspects, and then they have to go out and get some bullpen arms. Is kind of the way I take it, or am I completely wrong?
No, I feel, look, our friend of the Carne Asada, and hopefully he'll be back soon, Juan Toribio had said, the reason why you saw Clevenger out there is because they do need more arms in the bullpen. I mean, they're resting certain guys. And like I said, I can't stress this enough. They didn't have Trinan for a good part of the season. They lost Daniel Hudson. They lost guys these were horses. These are guys. Trinan is a guy who can pitch a lot. Yes. Daniel Hudson is a guy who can pitch a lot of games. The Dodgers don't have those guys. So they're relying on other guys here in the bullpen that maybe aren't used to this other workload. And that's another thing that concerns me, is where I'm already hearing Tony Gonsolin, we need to rest him a little bit. This is the most Tony Gonsolin has pitched. And let me just point out to everybody, if this is the most Tony Gonsolin has pitched, he's not even close to pitching as much as everyone else in the league that is up there in ERAs. Sandy Alcantara pitches more innings than him. So that's what we're talking about here. And we're going to go ahead and pick on the princess over here because she was so polite and raised her hand again.
I'm just panicking now. Oh my gosh.
Are you having a panic attack?
So I'm thinking it's going to be all right. It's going to be fine. It's the Dodgers. We're spoiled. Our expectations are super high, right? So when we start panicking, I tell myself it's because we want them to win every single game. We want to dominate. We don't just want to win. We want to flex all of everything that the Dodgers have going on. What about Haney? He had a great outing today. Could he be moved once guys come back? I know Buehler hasn't even picked up a ball, but ideally, Roberts himself said today or yesterday, the quote was, these guys they know the job. Yeah. Their roles could change. He was talking about pitching. So could Haney be moved to a reliever if we need him? I mean,
listen, I feel like with the pitching right now, I think anything and everything is on the table. That's kind of the vibe that I gather. Because again, Mitch White, it's not like Mitch White was terrible, right?
No,
I mean, did he have a horrible outing yesterday?
2 of his wins. I'm so proud of him.
Mitch White has pitched extremely well every time he's been up. Every time he goes out. That's why he's the greatest number 66 of all time.
Get out of here. Get out of here with it. This guy with his bullshit over there.
Right?
I mean,
oh God, what a contrarian. But anyway, for me, I feel like the Mitch White thing was just the correspondence to try to get some other bullpen arms up, right? And Mitch White, I get it. I get the move. No one likes it. I don't like it. Mitch obviously doesn't like it. Andrew Heaney, I'll say this. I obviously apologize to him after his first couple starts because he was killing it. It sucks that he's having the shoulder inflammation thing. Shoulder inflammation doesn't just go away. That just does not go away. So that's the only thing that I'm worried about. He's just freaking out.
Now he's just never gonna hang out with us ever again. You guys are downers.
I'm gonna go grab my tequila. I'll be right back because you're making me want to cry.
but the thing I think that they're doing with Heaney is, to your point, I think that's an option in the bullpen. The other thing I wanted to bring up, And again, we don't know any of this shit. I don't know what Dave's thinking. This is just an assumption based on what they're doing, right? Andrew had a quality start today. He didn't go 5 innings, but he went 4 innings, walked 3 guys, gave up a hit, and struck out 4 guys. For a guy coming back,
and lowered his ERA, by the way.
Yeah.
His ERA was already 0.56.
And
he
it
lowered.
So Andrew Heaney, I mean that's a guy that if you can keep healthy is going to be a huge asset for the bottom of the rotation, right? Another guy that we saw twice in this series was David Price. I was actually surprised about that. And the thing about David is they've been resting him. I think it was Efren that said that about rest. They'd been resting him, and then they finally put him out there for these 2 situations, right? Long relief situations. I feel like that's a guy that if they're not going to move on from him, that they've, kind of like with Albert last year, Albert Pujols, they used him, as much as they could in situations where it was the best for the team, right? And I think David Price is a really good viable option for long relief. Clearly, he's willing to do that because he's been quietly doing whatever he needs to do to help this team get to the position of winning the World Series. And if you notice the last few years of runs, there's been that vet, right? The veterano, Chase Utley, Theo Albert, David Freese, David Price. So for me, what better guy to have out in that pen and in that clubhouse to be able to teach these young guys? Because Andrew Heaney is still a young guy, right? Tony Gonsolin, young guy. So Walker Buehler, young guy. You have your Clayton Kershaws of the world, and you have him, and you have Julio Urias, still a young guy too. So having that veteran experience out there is going to be huge, especially in long relief situations. Long story short, if they're not able to go out and viably get a bullpen arm, they do have options. It's just a matter of making it work. Jake Reed, another guy today that we hadn't seen in a minute, pitched today. Yeah, he gave up 3 hits, but still, you got to get those guys the reps, right? If you don't give them the reps, then you run into that same situation. You don't know what you're going to get out of them. So I do trust Dave Roberts. I mean, I've said it on here time and time again. I'm a huge Dave Roberts proponent, and him and Mark Pryor are a fantastic tandem.
Yeah.
So I trust what they're doing because their vision is that he was pissed because they, of all the stuff that's going on. But the vision is we're trying to win a World Series. So that if that's the end game and that's what they're doing, hey, do whatever you got to do. But if that means you got to throw out the Jake Reeds and the David Prices of the world, hey, let's go with it. I mean, I'm cool with it. Even though Garrett Clevenger is in Rogers Fight Club.
Well, I just think, I mean, that's usually how it happens, right? In a baseball season, you're at the end of the season, it's always going to be some unlikely hero. And it's usually going to be some guy that we probably bashed all season and said he sucked. Why is he even on the team? And then come the playoffs, he's going to end up getting a huge hit and winning us a game. And everyone's going to love him and say, hey, I was always a fan of that guy. Like, for all I know, you know who might be like the biggest hero and is going to become a Dodger legend might be Hanser Alberto, right? Yeah. Hanser hardly ever plays, but today he got an RBI double. So for all I know, it come at the end of the season in the playoffs, Hanser might be the guy who all of a sudden gets a huge hit and everybody's like, oh, we love Hanser. We could have never have won that World Series. Uh-oh. You guys know what that means, right?
It means Alicia's having a panic attack.
That is our somebody open the gate. Let's see who's joining us on the Carne Asada.
Let me go look.
Stopping by the Carne Asada for a few moments is Los Angeles Dodgers infielder and the CFO, the chief fun officer of the Los Angeles Dodgers, Hanser Alberto. Hanser, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me. I'm happy to be with you guys here. Let's talk a little bit and, let's know each other.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's start with that. A lot of people call you, the director of fun, right? And I firmly believe every clubhouse has to have a CFO, a chief fun officer. And it seems like you're the guy. You're traes el ambiente, siempre estás festejando y siempre estás bien loose. So tell us about that. What is it about you that just makes it so everywhere you go, you just want to have a good time?
I've been like that my whole life. I think I grew up that from my dad. He's a smiling guy the whole time. No matter the situation is, he's always trying to see the positive stuff. And I think I'm kind of the same guy. And I know this is important. This is a frustrated game. You know how much you get frustrated here, and I think it's very important to have a guy like me. Like always have fun, put a smile on my face. Try to make my guys around me feel feel good, feel confident, comfortable, and I think I've been doing a really good job right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And with that, I know a lot of folks know that you brought the shaka with you when you joined the team, but there's some other celebrations that we've been seeing. So we wanted to ask you about them. So last year there was the dunk. Now it's changed up. What can you tell us about those celebrations when guys get on, when they hit a home run, all that stuff?
Oh, this one, yeah, it's switch it up. Like, new year, new season, so we gotta switch it up. Whatever happened last year, it is in the past. So now we gotta move forward, and now we come here. This is a trade Turner. That movie, the Wall Street, something
Yeah,
like that.
the Wolf of Wall
Yeah,
Street.
yeah. When the
Yeah.
guy talking and hit it with the microphone, I think that was fun, and he was kind of doing the same he does, and so that one was pretty fun too.
Go ahead, Alicia.
You're on
Oh, you're
mute.
mute.
You're on mute.
It is fun, and thank you for joining us. Since I joined this podcast, the Bleed Lows podcast, we like to have fun too. And I'm like, we have to have Hanser on because he is so fun. I love your energy, so exciting to watch. Um, what is different about Los Angeles? I mean, I'm a diehard, lifelong Dodger fan. We all are. But you played in Texas, you played in Baltimore, Kansas City. What is special or different about Los Angeles? Can you think of some things? Anything?
Uh, Man, this organization is amazing. This is great thing as far as this is my best experience in baseball right now. The group we have so talented. You're learning something new from a different guy every single day. We don't have only one hero here, so every day we got a different one. Put a lot of hard work, the chemistry we have. So since we wake up, that's the best part. Since we wake up in the morning, we think and win the game. We come to the stadium with 95% that we're gonna win the game that day. That's the mindset. So we don't come here just to develop, just like to get better. No, we come here to win the game, and I think this is a great mindset that the organization have, and I think the talent that we got here, this amazing. I think that's the thing that made this thing special, and I'm happy to be part of it.
That is so awesome. So, what about like, do you like living in Los Angeles? Or is there anything different or better? I don't want to get you in trouble with Texas or Baltimore, but
No, LA is pretty big. You got a lot of stuff to do here, and I don't like to go out that much, but I've been some places that are really nice. The fans here think they're the best. They support us wherever we're going, especially home. We got a full house every day, and then wherever we go, so we see a lot of Dodger fans, and that make us better. We want to working hard for them, try to win game for them. But this series is special.
it is special. And is there some, does it matter to you, or have you noticed how many Latinos show up at Dodger Stadium? Like, does that make you feel good? Do you feel any different? And do you see how special it is? I mean, because there is nothing, no place like Dodger Stadium. And I say the same thing about the fans. But like muchos Latinos, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. You got a lot of Latinos every day, and it's good to see people when they call out your name, they can speak your same language. That's amazing. That make you feel like a home, especially for me. Come from Dominican Republic, so as a Latin guy, it's good for me to meet people. Latin guys from Mexico, wherever they come. But it's fun. It's better when people call out your name, like I say, and you guys we start talking, same language, and that's pretty good.
Well, then I will defer to Juan now.
Hanser, te prometí que lo íbamos a hacer en Spanglish, entonces ahorita yo te voy a hablar en español. Mira, yo estuve en el partido ayer y vi que estabas haciendo batting practice y tú fuiste el primer jugador, pelotero, el primer pelotero cuando terminó de batting practice, fuiste allí a hablar con los fanáticos. Y estabas tomando fotos con los fanáticos. ¿Por qué, para ti, por qué es importante tener una relación con los fanáticos, con los que vienen a ver los partidos?
Bueno, pienso que ellos solamente ven o sea, la parte deportiva de nosotros, no ven el terreno, pero quizá no tienen ese acercamiento para conocer la calidad de humano que somos, tú sabes, personal. Y creo que hace bien, nosotros desde esta plataforma significamos mucho para los fanáticos, la gente que nos sigue, especialmente los niños que vienen subiendo. Tú sabes, cuando tenemos la oportunidad de regalar una pelota, una foto, un autógrafo, pues siempre trato de hacerlo porque sé lo importante que es. Yo también estuve como ellos en algún momento, tú sabes, viendo superestrellas, deseando tomarme una foto con alguno de esos peloteros de mi país. Y muchas veces se dio, otras veces no se pudo dar. Entonces, ahora que yo estoy en este lado, pues tengo la oportunidad de hacer feliz a otra persona, pues pienso que es muy importante, ya que eso le deja un buen recuerdo y eso, tú sabes, vivirá para siempre ya en el corazón de esa persona.
Bueno, hablé con tu jefe, Dave Roberts, y dio 3 ejemplos de peloteros que piensan que tal vez ya cuando se retiren van a ser managers en béisbol. Dijo Justin Turner y también te nombró a ti. ¿Tienes tú algún deseo ya después de que termines de jugar de hacer manager en las ligas grandes?
Bueno, hasta ahora no pienso en eso, o sea, pienso que todavía me queda mucho por jugar, pero sí, siempre iba aprendiendo. Yo he hablado eso con él. Él siempre me dice, mira, ya para el futuro, cuando tú te veas, pienso que tú tienes material para eso de ser, o sea, manager. Entonces, tú tienes que mirar los movimientos, hablar, tener buena relación con el pitching coach que sabe de los pitchers, tener buena comunicación y siempre estoy mirando, estoy viendo ahí los movimientos, las cosas que se hacen para así siempre uno aprender ciertas cosas.
Bueno, estábamos hablando, nosotros somos un podcast de puros latinos, somos 3 mexicanos aquí. Somos los únicos aquí en Los Ángeles que nos enfocamos en los Dyers. Tengo 2 preguntas que te tengo que hacer. La primera es, cuando yo era joven, siempre me gustaba ir a restaurantes, ir a comer. Me gustaría, vamos a Shakey's, a comer pizza, unas papas mollo. Pero mis padres siempre me decían, no, hay frijoles en la casa, entonces nos vamos. Tú eres dominicano. Muchos hemos tenido dominicanos, hemos tenido puertorriqueños en el programa. ¿Cuál es la palabra en español para beans?
Ok, habichuelas. Nosotros le decimos habichuelas, creo que ustedes dicen frijoles, ¿no?
Nosotros decimos frijoles. ¿Por qué se ofenden ustedes cuando usamos nosotros la palabra frijoles? Tus padres te decían, no, hay habichuelas en la casa. Vas a comer habichuelas en la casa.
Sí, allá en Dominicana se dice habichuela y sí, ponle habichuela al arroz, a los tacos, whatever, tú sabes, pero bueno, yo en particular no me molesto cuando te dicen frijoles. En Venezuela le dicen caraota y así sucesivamente. Eso no tengo problema, o sea que cada país tiene su cultura diferente, pero al final, tú sabes, es alimento, es comida, que es lo importante, y donde quiera, que si yo voy a México, si es frijoles, yo sé que habichuela, o sea, como quiera va a estar buena, hay que comer.
Bueno, y Alicia había dicho antes, allí en Dodger Stadium, para mí la mayoría de los fanáticos son latinos. Y se me hace que los martes siempre hay mariachi allí. Le hemos preguntado a Max Muncy, le hemos preguntado a Edwin Rios, a cualquier pelotero que viene en el programa le preguntamos, ¿ya se enfadaron del mariachi o a ti te gusta el mariachi como dominicano?
No, él es bien, él hace buen trabajo, la gente le gusta cuando él viene, los muchachos aquí se divierten mucho, cantan muchas de las canciones que él canta, y o sea, este es mi primer año, yo no me he cansado, primera vez que lo veo este año, y y de verdad que es un gozo. Eso también atrae público, el público se divierte, no solamente se enfocan en el partido, sino que también, tú sabes, pueden escuchar buena música, música mexicana, porque la mayoría latinos, pues, la mayoría mexicanos, otros de Centroamérica, Sudamérica, que también escuchan, tú sabes, los mariachis, y se siente bien, el ambiente se pone mejor.
Bueno, última, ya se la voy a dejar allí a Alonso, pero te quería preguntar, en el Clubhouse, ¿cuál es la música que domina? ¿Hay la banda o ustedes vienen con su reggaetón? ¿Cuál es quién domina ahí en el Clubhouse cuando se viene a la música?
Bueno, aquí Mookie y JT tienen como un espacio de DJ. Tienen ahí todo lo de un DJ con todos sus platos, la música. Antes del juego pone, tú sabes, música latina, reggaetón, cosas así latinas, música ¿sabes? Que te mueva para ponerte el ambiente en el juego. Ya luego, después del partido, cuando ganamos, obviamente, también ponen ya, tú sabes, música americana, pero movida, ya, ¿sabes? En forma de celebración y eso.
Órale, Alonso.
Si no están siguiendo a Hanser Alberto, if you're not following him on the Instagram, go follow him. El Potro07, solid follow. De hecho, le quería preguntar una última cosa. Who is the best dressed guy in that clubhouse? Because I see your Instagram. I see your Instagram, and I see the fit checks. I see him. So who is the best
some
dressed?
good portable like Mookie. Nobody's like Mookie. He's the
Nobody.
best. No one like his style, how he dressed, like the combination, like amazing. Mookie's the best.
So who would you say is the close second to Mookie?
Close second. I
Y
don't
te
know.
estoy dando oportunidad.
I don't know.
No seas humilde, Hanser. No seas humilde. Di la verdad. Di la verdad. Eres tú, ¿verdad?
I like too much, like look nice and even come to the stadium, but Mookie by far.
The humble caballo, Hanser Alberto. Again, go check him out. Follow him. Thank you for joining us for a few minutes. Best of luck the rest of the way, and hopefully we can catch up with you down the road.
All right, man. Thank you for having me. Have fun and go Dodgers.
Yeah. Next time we'll talk about the Winter League.
Let's go.
There you go. There you go, Hanser. Thank you. There you have it, Hanser Alberto. Real quick, there's a passing bomb just happened a few minutes ago. The New York Yankees have acquired Andrew Benintendi from the Kansas City Royals for 3 minor league pitchers. So
trade season started.
Trade season has begun. Shout out to John Boy. Jimmy O'Brien wanted a trade. There you go, Jimmy. You got your trade, bro. And it happens to be your team. So it begins. And by the way, for those of you that don't know, the deadline is Tuesday. This upcoming Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. The year has flown by.
Yes, it has. And I know, I can't wait to see Andrew, that Yankees, when they go up to Toronto and play in that series. I think
see what you did there.
Andrew's going to help them a lot, I think, there in that series.
Tell me you're petty without being petty.
All right, then. Hey.
But huge thanks to Hanser Alberto for stopping by for a few minutes. T, and you could tell right away, right? He's a loose guy. He's a really, really loose guy. And every clubhouse needs that. And I started it with referring to him as the CFO. I feel like a CFO is the most important, one of the most important roles in that clubhouse, in any clubhouse. And he does a hell of a job. And huge thanks to him too for also kind of giving us the insight as to the celebratory things. But wanted to start with you, Juan. Yeah. What were your takeaways from Hanser?
I can see why Robert said that he would have a future in managing. I think it's very important. And you could say probably the most successful managers in the history of the game were not superstars. They were utility guys on the bench, guys who could relate to everyone on the bench. I mean, you could see how Hanser, can interact with the superstars, like saying that Mookie is, a great fashion person. But then also, I think Hanser can relate to the fact that he, doesn't play every day. So he can relate to that guy who's at the end of the bench. One of the things I noticed when I was at the game on Monday covering it was Dave Roberts talking to the guys who didn't play that much, who don't get enough playing time while they're taking batting practice. And one of the guys he was hyping up was Hanser. Hanser was hitting some home runs. He was looking really good in batting practice. And Dave Roberts was totally talking him up. And that, you may not think that's a big deal, but when you show up to the stadium every day, you don't play every day, but you got to be ready in case of an emergency that you might play. I think being able to give that kind of encouragement and most importantly, let you know I'm behind you, I support you, and I'm going to fight for you. So that to me is what really stuck out. I mean, he was very personable. And look, we've interviewed a lot of players on this show, and we can sense the difference when you talk to somebody who likes to talk and somebody who doesn't like to talk.
Fair, Alicia.
No, I'm just happy we finally got to talk to him. I've wanted to talk to him for a while. I wasn't lying when I said I love his energy. When I go to games, I listen a lot to the people around me, and love him or hate him, even though he does not play often, they all know him. They all react to whether he's high-fiving, hanging over the rails, his signs. So I love that. I love it. It's effective. It's working. And should I apologize for really trying to force some compliments about Dodger fans?
Well, I mean, I just don't think the players know you're the Paula Abdul of this show. I mean, that's just what it
I'm
comes down
like,
to.
can you say something nice about the Dodger fans? When I really should have just been like, yo, like, again, it was cool that he stopped by. Thank you for coming out and making my day, because I wanted to talk to him for a long time, and I want him to know that he's appreciated. And like you guys said, we need someone like that. We miss Kike. I even miss Puig. Like, don't come at me, babyface.
The greatest 66 ever.
And we're talking about the presence, eventually kind of wore off on the guys, talking about Puig. But remember, there was a moment where when Vin Scully gives you a nickname, you are somebody. So there was a moment where Puig was that guy in the clubhouse, in the dugout. So I feel like I have to defend myself if I say something nice about Puig.
Roger, what was your takeaway from Hanser?
I think we've brought this up, before. Remember, we were talking about that high energy guy that the Dodgers didn't have after Kike left. So the last couple of seasons they didn't have that guy, and now Hanser brings that to the team, the clubhouse, and I think it's showing, because in past seasons when they get into a little funk, you kind of see the team kind of like just kind of seem different, kind of seem off, and so far this year they haven't really had that much of a bad funk where they're large long losing streaks. But I think Hanser does help just keeping them loose, keeping that vibe just fresh and just upbeat every game, whether they win or they lose. He kind of just brings that energy every day.
Yeah, I think he was one of those, like, I remember when the Dodgers went out and got Max Muncy, right? And everyone's like, who the hell is this guy? And I think it worked out. I think that one's worked out. Hanser, I think, is kind of in that same boat, because you don't necessarily get the guy just because he's a good ball player. That's the thing that kind of gets lost, as Juan says, that the lead has been buried with him. He can ball. He's a really good infielder. He's got a really electric bat, but he also knows his role. And him understanding his role and knowing what he needs to do, I think that's huge, right? And the thing that I like that he pointed out real quick, right out the gate, is the organization, how good the organization is, the culture, and they also all understand what the expectation is. They all show up to the ballpark knowing that they can win every single game, and that they know that the ultimate goal is to win a championship. So for me, if it's from the bottom down or bottom up, however you want to look at it, role players, superstars, all that jazz, if they all know that, then hey, kudos to Dave, because Dave is the one that cultivates that culture, right? So that, again, we're spoiled as Dodger fans. We say it all the time, but for guys to understand their role, that's fantastic. As we get into trade season, I wanted to quote a Ken Rosenthal thing, because it's Dodgers related. Rosenthal just tweeted out that Benintendi's vaccination status was never discussed. Sources tell him and Jason Stark and the Yankees aren't worried about that series in Toronto one. But the Dodgers and the Milwaukee Brewers were also in Toronto were also in the mix for Andrew Benintendi. I'm kind of surprised by that, especially the Toronto thing. But the Dodgers and the Brewers making moves kind of, I'm a little surprised. But the Dodgers going out there, obviously they're kicking tires on people. It goes back to the point of Friedman making that point that when a guy like Soto becomes available, you have to kick the tires. So I just wanted to ask you guys before we start to wrap this thing up: is there anyone here in this group chat here that thinks that they're going to get Juan Soto?
No, I don't think they're going to get Juan Soto.
Alicia,
No.
you thought about it, so that's why I'm asking you. It looked like you thought about it at least.
No, I just because we've discussed this before. I there are other people that we've named that they should go after. I talk like I'm management. There are other people we would hope that they go after. But no, I don't believe Soto's coming.
Roger,
I don't think he's coming,
he thinks he's
but
coming.
I don't think he's coming. But I heard from someone that's connected to the, a little better to the Dodgers than I am, that it's entirely possible today. So
Oh, I don't doubt that it's
Oh,
entirely
I
possible.
know it's possible. I just
Yeah.
I mean, it's more than just a straight no. I mean, it's like they're really like looking into it.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean,
Yeah.
Andrew Freeman said it himself. If a guy like that comes available, I mean, the Mookie Betts deal that came out of nowhere too. You know what I mean? We got RKO'd out of nowhere with that one, but
But
I
also Vegas odds, the Dodgers are second, right? They're right behind the Padres as who the favorites are to win, and Vegas rarely loses.
Yeah.
So
the house rarely loses.
I mean,
right,
I think if he gets traded, I seen who like the Mets, the Padres, the Dodgers, Cardinals. I mean, I don't see them. I don't see them moving him to the Mets
No,
just
no chance.
because it's division.
No chance.
So if it's gonna happen, it's probably gonna be like the Padres or the Cardinals.
I think he'll be a Padre. I think that's where he's
that's
going
what
to wind up.
Vegas is. Padres.
Yeah. And the reason
A dark horse in here, guys, is don't forget about the Tampa Bay Rays.
the only reason I
And I'm serious about that. Just because
have a lot of injuries.
they have injuries, but the Rays have the kind of talent that they could give up to get Soto, and then flip him the last year of his contract to replenish the farm system.
Yeah.
Yankees were in that discussion too, right? And now with Benintendi, would that put them out of it?
I think it would. I mean, from what it's been reported is that the Yankees don't want to give up any of their big time prospects. So, and I mean, in this trade, they gave up I think it was like their 12th, 19th, and like 17th, ranked pitching prospects. So I honestly, and also this Steinbrenner regime is completely different than from when George was around. So I say this with all due respect to Yankees fans. I just don't think that they're going to pull that trigger. If they haven't re-signed Judge, there's no way that they're going to back up the Brinks truck for Juan Soto for a shorter deal, because that's ultimately what I think it is. I don't think they're pissed about the amount of money. It's just the amount of time on the deal. So if that's the case, I don't see the Yankees pulling that off either. That's just me. That's a hot take. You can at me for it.
Now, do you think the Nationals are completely done? Because I was going to say they can still come back with another offer, right, and give him what he wants.
I think they're done only because they're trying to sell the team, and that's one of the things that needs to be cleared up with any sort of new ownership regime. And if you have a superstar player that doesn't want to be there, there's no sense in doing that turnover a bit and just kind of replenishing and starting over. Right? It's more attractive to an owner. I don't think I mean if he's made it clear dude doesn't want to be there and he's not going to re-sign anything, get whatever you can for him while you can. That's all you can do. That's why I'm still shocked the Yankees have not re-signed Aaron Judge, because if that dude walks for free, that's a bigger party foul than trading Juan Soto even next year if they don't get what they want. Here's the thing about Juan Soto. They're going to get what they want. They're going to find a way to get that package that they want. It's just a matter of finding the party to give it to them, right? And they know who can give it to them, and I just don't see how that ends up well. I mean, and also it's just a distraction too. If you go into spring training with that trade talk again, go into the trade season again, All-Star game again. That's not cohesive for a clubhouse. I mean, that's just me.
I think those are very good points. So let's get into our predictions, folks. Let's wrap things up. Let's just get a recap of last week. So last week, Alonso and Alicia and myself, we all agreed the Dodgers would go 5-2.
You said they were going 3-4. Didn't
Yeah.
we say that?
Yeah. Who made that pick for me? Because it didn't sound like my voice. Good thing we record the shows, right, Babyface, and then we have actual
Hey,
audio. Proof.
Alonso agreed.
The only reason I agreed is that's all we had to work on at the time.
So the good thing is I keep the receipts on the text, so I know what my picks were. And then Babyface went 6-1, and he just missed it. He just missed it, and that's why.
I blame Clevenger.
Yeah, Clevenger. That's why he has the strong hate for Clevenger.
And joining us next week in the Carne Asada is Garrett Clevenger.
Yeah, so that should make a very interesting interview.
Yeah.
So just to recap the standings, in first place is yours truly with 7 points.
I see why you started it. Okay, fair enough.
In second is Alonso with 6. Alonso got a nice bump because he won the parlay. He picked the American League in the All-Star game. The only one of us that picked the American League. So he got a nice
never loses, bro.
he got a nice bump there. So he and Alicia are both tied in second place with 6 points. And then Babyface has 4 points. And our listeners have 2 points. So don't count out our listeners. So those of you guys who are on the live, chime in with your picks for next week. We have 8 games. They play 4 in Colorado, and then they go play 4 in San Pancho. So, Alicia, ladies first.
Yeah, see, Colorado makes me nervous, and history repeats itself. And we had, was it friend of the Carne Asada, D-Train,
Yeah.
Dontrell, talked about what happens when you're in Colorado. So that makes me nervous. So
This whole episode is just about making
I
Alicia
am
nervous.
so stressed.
Oh, we
my
need to get a new
goodness.
hashtag going. Hashtag Alicia's Panic Attack.
Yes.
You look like you're in a panic room. I mean, if we're being totally
Yeah,
honest.
right?
Yeah.
Biting my nails. Yeah, this was definitely an emotional one for me. I'm gonna say we split Colorado, and Padres we win 3.
Giants.
So
Giants.
I'm
Padres.
sorry, Giants.
The
San
weekend.
Pancho.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, yes. I'm gonna stick with that. So 2 and 2. Oh no, 4 and 4 doesn't sound like me, right? Or
Doesn't sound like me.
I gotta stick to my optimism. I want to be, I want to believe. See what you guys did to me?
First of all,
We broke Alicia.
I
We
blame
broke
Juan.
Alicia.
Broke me.
I blame
Let's go 5 and 3.
All righty.
okay.
Alonso.
I'm gonna go 4 and 4, and for before I get added, the Coors Field effect is real.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go 4 and 4, solely on that. Yeah. So 4 and 4.
So I'm gonna give my picks, and I'm gonna do it for my boy Sports
I
Empire.
was gonna bring it up. Well done.
So Sports Empire, this is for you. Let me tell you about hard time, because I think the Dodgers of Los Angeles, are gonna go through a hard time on this road trip, and I'm picking the Dodgers to go 3 and 5 on this road trip.
Hater, man. Hater.
Wow. He took the Prince of Darkness bit and ran with it. You're a heel, sir. By
Hey,
the way,
man.
is your wife around? Did she hear you do this, or your daughter? Did they hear you?
She cringes. She cringes anytime I put Saturday night's main event on the Peacock, and she just thinks. Actually, she feels a lot of empathy for you, Alicia. She feels like when she listens to the show, she feels your eye roll. When actually a lot of people who listen to the show have told me, poor Alicia, when we go on our wrestling tirades, they're just like, oh my.
And the response to the wrestling, I'm just like, Jiminy Cricket, this is a thing. This
Hey,
is
T-
a thing that I
Hey,
need to learn about.
We haven't even talked about it yet. WWE is TV 14 now. Hey, go ahead, Roger.
What did you say? 4 and 4?
Yeah, I said 4 and 4. Juan, by the way, brutal prediction. But I get why, though. I get why.
What happened last time they were in Coors Field? And Efren,
That was last time.
I want to give a shout out to Efren because Efren, first of all, yes, Hanser does give me Juan Uribe vibes. He
Yeah, he does.
absolutely
Okay.
does. I just hope nobody sticks a banana in his mouth because I just felt that was really inappropriate. And then Efren, I mean, you hate Coors Field.
I do
There's
too.
something about that field. The Dodgers don't play well, and I don't know. I think when you lose 2 out of 3 to the worst team in the National League, and you're going on the road, there might be a little letdown. And we're about to go into the dog days of summer, and next week is the trade deadline.
Yeah.
So depending what the Dodgers do, they may be shorthanded in some game. So they could very easily lose games that they should win. That's all I'm saying.
And if you've never been to Coors Field, even if you just go as a fan, bro, you get tired. So I can't even imagine for guys that walk off a plane, hey, we're gonna go play. Damn, like it takes you a couple days to kind of adjust to the altitude. So go ahead, Alicia.
Today, if you were listening to the game, the broadcast with Hershiser Davis, they were talking about just the flight alone
Yeah.
is sketchy, right? The airport. So that makes me nervous. That flight is crazy. It doesn't
Yeah.
get any easier every time we do it. But I'm still not going to change my mind. I'm sticking with 5-3, and I want to give a shout out to Frank, Carrion, and Simeon. They're going with me. That gives me hope.
So what I gather here is Rogers going to go 6-2. That's what I'm thinking, or 8-0. I don't know.
8-0.
Let's hear it, babyface. Let's get that prediction in.
So I think they're gonna win the series in Colorado. They'll go 3-1,
Okay.
and then I actually think they'll still win San Francisco. But I'm gonna play it safe, and I'm gonna go 2-2 in San Francisco.
So babyface is going 5-3. So I just want to extend my apologies. Alicia literally put her head down right now when she heard you say 5-3
No, I didn't.
because she knows
She knows.
she just lost next week.
Yeah.
Frank and Simeon, my condolences to you
No.
guys. I want to thank you guys for participating, but it doesn't look like you guys are going to win next
Not
week.
promising.
And it's nothing that
We're
you guys
gonna
did
win.
wrong.
We're
It is
gonna win.
nothing that you
I mean, we
guys
know-
Well,
did.
actually, no,
don't-
there
we-
is something they did wrong. They made the wrong prediction because Roger came in and stole the thunder.
We
So
know Juan's not gonna win. That's for sure, though.
our condolences.
How pissed are you going to be if I end up winning?
Bro, if they go 3-5, first
If
of all,
you if
Go to
they
hell.
do it, it's
First
your
of all,
fault.
if they
If they do, it's your fault because you just
Here
put
it
out there
is.
already.
I already heard it.
yeah.
Why? Because I'm the only. Is this why I have the label of being the Prince of Darkness? Because I'm the only one that's objective on here. You have to use this. Hey, look, a great, fantastic movie I encourage everyone to see is Martin Scorsese's Casino. Right?
Right.
I am like Sam Ace Rothstein. All right.
Wow.
I'm looking at all the
Okay.
variables. I'm checking everything out. You know, who the field goal kicker is sleeping with, what's the wind trajectory. I'm looking at all that stuff. I'm taking into account that they just lost 2 out of 3 to the worst team in the National League. And now they're going to go to a place that they didn't play well at last time. Okay? I think they're going to lose 3 out of 4 in Colorado and split in San Pancho. I think that's what's going to happen.
I'm impressed that you had the wherewithal to humbly not call yourself Martin Scorsese at the same time too. Like, I mean, you took it there, and I was just like, oh, okay, this dude's running with the football.
There you go. Aces
and-
high. So,
Juan, when the Dodgers take the series in Colorado, can we get some kind of like a sweet
Yeah.
Tequila?
something? I want not an
No,
apology, but I
Yeah,
want you.
I want you to
No.
post it on Facebook. It will be
There
on our
you go,
Facebook
yeah.
once they win that series.
Breaking news,
I
we
will
have
do
a
that.
Facebook.
I will.
I mean, our YouTube
I
star.
hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong because that
Sure.
means
Sure, I can see it on your face. I
sacrifice
can see it on
myself
your
for
face.
this team. Okay, I do whatever is good for this team to win. And my boy Sports Empire is the only one who realizes that's why he F's with me. Because I'm the only realistic Dodger fan. Thank you, Sports Empire, my boy right there. and the only one other than
It's
Alonso who
it's
recognizes my Dusty Rhodes impression. So
Sports
thank you,
Empire.
Sports Empire.
Is Sports Empire at your house? Is there somebody else tweeting from your house or
No, Sports
somebody?
Empire's on the East Coast, bro. We need to thank him
We do.
for it's like 11 o'clock where he's at right now, but he still joins us on the Carne Asada, and I appreciate your support, Sports Empire, and I appreciate you.
We
You
do.
know what I don't
absolutely.
appreciate? The support for Juan. I don't appreciate that support because you know what you're doing? You're enabling him. You're enabling. You're an enabler.
I do not stand
We
with Juan.
appreciate the support, though.
I do not stand with one. We're gonna make two kinds of shirts.
Listen, as the conductor of the I do not stand with Juan train, I've been not standing with Juan since the start. Sir, there's a reason why you're the asshole.
Look, I'm the asshole. I'm the asshole. But I just want to point this out there. If the Dodgers get Juan Soto,
Oh, God.
guess what's the next shirt the Bleed Lows podcast is making?
I
Go
stand
ahead,
stand
tell
with
us, baby.
Juan. I stand with
Exactly.
Juan.
Exactly.
Oh, and
Exactly.
here, and as we go to wrap this up, I want everyone to make a prediction, a hot take prediction for the trade, because we obviously aren't going to do a show until after ish. So I want to hear from each of you. What do you think is going to? It doesn't even have to be Dodgers related. It can be any trade of any kind. Go ahead.
Oh, jeez. You know what? I think it's all going to be a lot of small trades.
Yeah.
I do the blockbuster trade. I do think is going to be Juan Soto to the show pods, because I think the show pods are going to overpay, because Preller, I think, is desperate down in San Diego. If the show pods, they've put in a lot of money there.
Yeah, they have.
And if they don't make the playoffs, because right now there is no guarantee that they're going to make the playoffs. So I can see them. But again, and we've talked about this on other shows, the price that every other team is going to pay for Juan Soto is still going to be cheaper than what the price is the Dodgers would have to pay to get Juan Soto, because the Dodgers prospects are more valued than other teams. So that's the thing that sucks.
Yeah.
Is that the Dodgers are always going to pay a higher price when it comes to trades. Like, if the Dodgers end up getting Luis Castillo, which we didn't talk about.
I don't think the
guarantee
Dodgers are
you-
going to get him. By the way.
I guarantee you they're going to pay a higher price than other teams are to get Luis Castillo. I mean, how many times did we see trades last year where we're just like, what? Like, they got this guy for what? This is what they gave up? Meanwhile, when they go to deal with the Dodgers, they want the Dodgers' top prospects. So,
What about you, Alicia? I know you don't dive as deep as we do, but I'm just kind of curious from optimism of Picolandia. What do you think is going to happen?
I do believe, all things withstanding, that Soto will go to the Padres. I love what Sports Empire, he had a comment earlier that made me laugh. Hopefully he goes to the Padres so there could be some competition. Ouch. Like, that's what they need. They need more stars. I think he also said, Sports Empire, that Soto's going to go there and get hurt.
I think that was Ephraim. I think Ephraim said that.
Oh, Ethan said that? Dang, I love our viewers. Thank you for
Also
hanging
brutal.
out with us.
God dang.
I do think, again, I'm not saying it's an absolute. If all things stay as they are now, the trajectories, that's what I feel is going to happen. I wish, we've discussed this before, that we would get Luis Castillo, but it kind of fizzled out, right? Like, that's not happening. So maybe there's some, multi-team trade going on with smaller guys, and we will reinforce our bullpen, and that's all we can hope for. I can't tell you exactly which pitchers or how, but we also mentioned, you gentlemen mentioned, that slim pickings in that area. So, no say. I hope that the Dodgers keep doing what the Dodgers are good at. I mean, I wasn't paying attention to Trey Turner until he came to the Dodgers. I knew he was good, but now he's like up there as one of my favorite Dodgers. In fact, I have his bobblehead right here.
Boom.
So,
Alicia, before we go to Babyface, can you tell us the breaking news out of OKC?
the one I sent you?
Yeah. I want Alicia to break this. For our listeners there's some breaking news from OKC. So let's go to the sports desk, and Alicia, give us the update.
Okay, this just in. Making his first appearance with OKC, Pedro Baez was called for a clock violation before he threw his first pitch.
There
Not
you go, Dodger fans.
Not
Get
healthy
ready.
society.
Get ready. La Mula is coming to Dodger Stadium. And I better not hear any boos when La Mula goes and takes the mound. I want a standing ovation for that man. All right? So I don't want to hear it.
Old
There,
habits die hard.
there's a hot take. Dodgers won't trade for a pitcher, but Pedro Baez will be up next week.
And then he'll get a shot clock violation too.
I mean, good thing they don't have that. They don't have that here yet.
Yet.
Yeah.
My dad calls him Bino. It's so mean.
Oh, that's cold-blooded.
Oh man, I can't
Also
wait to
needs
wear
to-
my Mula jersey next homestand. Go support La Mula. I can't wait.
And Juan Efren said that they're just getting to the hotel, so they're gonna be plenty rested for the game tomorrow.
Hey, look.
Oh, hey.
I hope they win.
Same.
I hope they win. But do you guys all have amnesia? Do you not remember what happened the last time the Dodgers were in Coors
And
Field?
what's the mentality of a baseball player? You forget what happened yesterday.
No, you don't.
Okay, so
Right.
why don't you forget what Garrett Clemenger did?
I'm not a baseball player.
Bro, I'm still pissed from shit.
Hey,
from, like,
that should be a new drop. We should have a new drop. I'm not a baseball player.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, because I'm still pissed from shit from like 2006, bro. And so, I mean, they don't forget what they did. No.
Hey, I got news for you. I'm pissed from 1985. Tom Niedenfuer, if I see you, your ass is mine, Tom Niedenfuer.
And he's not even a baseball player is the best part. Rod, what's your prediction?
That was my prediction. They're not going to get an arm, and we'll see Baez up real soon.
Wow. Okay. I think the New York Yankees will acquire Luis Castillo. I don't see him being a Dodger. And I also think it's either going to be the Padres or the Cardinals where Juan Soto goes, if he goes. And I think the Dodgers will just make a bunch of small moves for relief arms. I agree with you, though, Juan. I think it's going to be a relatively quiet trade market. You know, you kind of like the Benintendi thing. We knew that was coming. Like, that's not a surprise. I'm just surprised that happened today. But it's
That was like a shot in the arm, though.
it was to get the movement going. I don't think it's going to be like a climactic. I hope it is, though. I mean, I hope it ends up being like a crazy trade deadline. But if anything kind of shows what it's been the last couple of years, I don't foresee it happening. Jesus, I think Yaquez. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see your name, bro. My bad. Any interest for JD Martinez? He doesn't really fit the mold for the Dodgers. You know, he's a bat, but he doesn't play multiple positions. Not really what the Dodgers like. So I don't foresee that being a thing. Do you think that, Juan?
I hear that a lot. The issue at hand is if you trade for JD Martinez, he's strictly JD Martinez. He's strictly a DH.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do with Justin Turner? What are you going to do?
Jake
You know, we've been seeing the Dodgers play Will Smith a lot at the DH with Austin Barnes catching. So you're going to lose a little bit of flexibility if you trade for JD Martinez. I think right now I would love to get another starting pitcher, but someone who is elite, not somebody, that's going to be at the end of the rotation. Because I just don't think you can depend that Buehler is going to make it back and expect the Buehler to be the Buehler of 2018.
Well, and again, Blake Trinan is delayed. They need relief arms, so they need a flexible guy. I'm curious to see what they do. I mean, I trust Andrew Friedman because obviously he's made everything happen completely out of nowhere. So, and I mean, in that Max Scherzer deal, let's not forget they were talking about Max Scherzer, but at no point in time, as Alicia said, did they ever say, hey, Trey Turner might be a part of this deal? Didn't see that coming at all. So crazier stuff has happened. So we'll go ahead and wrap this guy up. We were presented by Bet Online. Our partners at Bet Online. If you head on over to their website today, which is betonline.ag, and use your mobile device, computer, whatever you have, and use our promo code, which is BELIEVE50, BLEAV, and the number is 50. You will receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. If you want to bet on trades, they have those betting lines. So if you want to bet, on where Juan Soto ends up, if you want to bet that he's going to be a Dodger, you can go do it there. They have all the futures and all that stuff. Huge thanks to them. If you're not following us on the socials, go follow us at Bleed Los Podcast. It was on the ticker. I forget what the real name is for it. Everything was there. Go check it all out, and then follow us on the Twitters as well, because you don't know who who's going to stop by, and you don't know who the Dodgers are going to acquire, and we want to be the first to break it. So keep in touch. But to everyone that engaged with us, everyone that pointed out that Juan is the Prince of Darkness, thank you guys. If it wasn't for you guys, Juan wouldn't have done the Dusty Rhodes voice. So that's how important you guys are. So thank you guys for stopping by. Oh, go ahead.
Real quick, if we do get Juan Soto, we're ready for him. We got a street ready for him, so we're ready.
We've been having that shirt for a minute.
Wow, that was a strong eye roll from Alicia, man. We need to get Alicia some goggles. We need to get her some protective eyewear because the amount of eye rolls that she does on this show, I'm concerned.
How much lower can I pull my hat?
I believe the term the kids use is she feels that was cringe, Juan.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you guys, though.
Hey, thank you. This is the first time El Ramos has joined us, right? I believe so. Hit us up. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Yeah, always hit us up. We love to talk with all y'all. So hit us up, and we'll catch you on the next one. But on that note, go Dodgers, and we will catch you down the road.